All right, just sitting here. I'm Joe Murray. Today is Tuesday, I believe. I believe it's Tuesday. I like to call Tuesdays with Murray. Get it? To play on words. Yeah? Anybody get that? I don't know. Tuesdays with Murray. Anyways, so I was up bright and early this morning. I was up very bright and early this morning. And I was on with Toucher and Rich. We had a good show today. It was fun. And now I'm back to do the podcast today. And of course, I just want to let everyone know that you can chat into the podcast. So any questions you have, whether it's for me or for my guest, you can chat that stuff in. So, and also you can check out all previous episodes on Spotify, YouTube, and on iTunes. My guest today is Mike O'Brien. He's somewhat of a Swiss Army knife, I'd call him. He works over at 98.5 The Sports, but he works like a million other jobs too. But he's going to hang out with me today, so we'll bring him in just a minute here. Get some thoughts on what's going on in hockey, the NBA. There's also more stuff on what's happening with Major League Baseball as well. The sports stuff is like a minimal on this show. It's minimal because I want to get into like the good stuff. And there's a Rocky documentary that's coming out, and a guy from Philly's coming on. So like we got to rock that shit. You know what I mean? And I'm pumped to talk about this because we've had documentaries. We've had the Jordan documentary. I didn't even watch a minute of the Derek Jeter stuff. We got a Brady documentary coming up. But, like, give me a Rocky documentary all day narrated by Sylvester Stallone. Like, I am in on that. So we'll talk about that at some point during the show. And, again, you guys can chat into the show and have some fun today. And I'm going to be here, I think, most of the week. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here Friday or not, but whatever. We're doing them every day, and I appreciate it, people joining the show and having some fun. So without further ado, let's bring in my guest today. His name is Mike O'Brien.
Sup.
He is, he's from a lot of places, but because his O'Brien on the mic is so long that I'm just going to put Mike O'Brien, at O'Brien on the mic on Twitter. But he works at 98.5 The Sports on part-time. He works for a million other places that we'll get into later. He is a play-by-play announcer, a studio host, and he has been in Boston for how long now?
This is pretty much 2 years this month.
Good. So this has been
this is my third stint. This stint is 2 years, but I've been in Boston for a total of, let's say, 10 years at this point.
Okay. So you're not a Bostonian yet.
No.
You're still not a true. And that's funny. So when I told people today, Mike O'Brien's coming on the show, you know what the reaction was?
What's that?
Who? Who? They're like, Dan O'Brien? No, Mike O'Brien.
First of all, I mean, Mike O'Brien in Boston, like dime a dozen. I'm in no way special in this town.
Like Joe Murray? Like how many Joe Murrays have you probably met along the way here? But
I went to BC. I was one of 9 Mike O'Briens on campus.
Okay,
so I got there.
Well, we'll get to know you. We'll do like a get to know you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
But you went to BC, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that about you. What year did you graduate BC?
I graduated in 99.
Okay, so who would be on the football team in 99?
So that was like the Matt Hasselbeck era. That was like Donnie Abrams, a little bit of the Troy Bell era.
Troy Bell, yeah. He actually was in the news recently for being positive, which I can't, Mike, we're here for probably an hour or so.
Yeah.
I can't do anything in the real world today.
No, that's fine. Let's take a break from the real world. Everyone's taking a break from social media today anyway as part of the movement, so we can take a break from the real world.
Oh, God. Thank God. This is what this show has been about for me. That's how I start. Actually, the first show that I ever did, I was like, I want to talk about music. And I just started talking about Kurt Cobain because it was the anniversary of his death. And then I wanted to get into like Alice in Chains and all this other stuff. And then it turned into like wrestling talk. And I'm like, all right, I think I got something here. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to do this every day. So maybe like I'll hang out with somebody that I like. You know what I mean? And then that's kind of how it all came about here. So
nice.
We'll get to know you, Mike. We'll do that throughout the show here, and then we have some sports stuff, and then
Right.
We'll wrap it up because me, I like to mess around and get triple doubles and all that kind of fun stuff.
I love to do that as well. Let's do it.
So I know you're fairly new. I think you worked at the Sports Hub for about a year, maybe.
I think my first day was around Thanksgiving 2018. So yeah, about a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, I like your mic there. What kind of mic are you rocking right there?
I'm rocking the CAD E100S.
I mean, it looks like a phone.
It looks a little bit like a phone. Here, you want to?
Look at that thing. That's a nice quality microphone.
So I do some voiceover stuff on the side as well. So I had to get kind of the professional mic. Sounds great.
Good stuff. Good little studio. We got to hook you up with some stuff in the background though.
That's the thing. My studio, like my voiceover studio, is my closet because it's the one spot in our apartment where there's no noise. But this is all closet space. So
we got to get some stuff back there. Like for example, I got the Goodfellas rocking.
You got a great background. I
got Traveling Wilburys. I got the Lord Murray's Cup. Did you get a handle?
I know Lord Murray. Oh, I know Lord Murray's
Cup. I might have to look for your name on there somewhere.
It's on there.
Even Marshall Hook said sweet Mike. He's checking in. Some people in here. Marshall Hook,
but he's got the best mic with the headphone mic.
Yeah,
he looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah, he said he bought that from a GameStop for like $5 or Five Below or something. I forget.
It's the coolest looking mic of the ones I've seen on the Weekenders for sure.
Welcome to Boston, Mike. Somebody said.
Thanks,
do you know this guy? I don't know if you know that guy.
I don't know that guy.
Marshall has Mike envy. So thank you for being one of our 32 listeners right now, Marshall.
Right on.
We really appreciate
Marshall.
that. So I'll throw this out at you, Mike. Been asking every guest that we have on the show if you can be quarantined with one person from 98.5 The Sports Hub that you've met over time. Who would that one person be?
I put some thought into this for sure. And there were some candidates right away I thought of, like Sean Silver's a great guy. Tucker Silva's a great guy. I'm like, I could spend, they're super nice. I could spend time with them. Then I took in the young child / toddler factor. I'm like, they're out. No way can I be quarantined with a small child right now. I just go out of my mind. And then, not to play favorites, but it came back to you because, I know your wife cooks up some great meals.
True.
So I was like, and I know, we get along. Watch.
Is this a kiss
TV.
ass, sir?
No,
are you kissing my ass right now?
No, I'm like, I hate to say it, but I thought Sean, you, and Tucker, right away. Those are three that hopped out. And I was like, wait, they have small children. I can't do that.
I got nothing.
And Joe's got.
I have a house.
Great food. You got a house, great food.
I have multiple rooms.
You like good TV.
Yep. I have multiple rooms. I have a man cave in the basement down here.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to just, hey Joe, I'm gonna go downstairs and just veg out. All right, dude. Yep, I'll be up here. I got a backyard. We got a fire pit. If you want to get that thing going.
And that's one thing I didn't know, but I needed to take into consideration because right now my biggest gripe with the quarantine is that I'm gonna have an apartment, no balcony, no backyard, just dying to go outdoors, and especially a day like today or a couple of days we had this weekend. So I didn't know everyone's living situation, but the fact that you have a backyard, I mean, come on, man.
And I invited you to the Murray mixer, and I
think I ended up had to work that day.
Yeah, we're working on a Murray mixer 2. We're just waiting on the phases, because
sure.
We're still in 3 weeks.
Are we still in phase 1?
I think so.
I don't even know anymore.
But then then there's phase 2, and then we're working on it. So there might be a Murray Mixer 2 happening at some point.
You have to keep it under 10 people. I mean, listen, the invite list was an issue last time. So
I want to have a bash. I want everyone invited, no questions asked. We can all meet and go to the Kowloon after, and people can meet at whatever. With this thing is going to be the summer jam of the month of the year. This is going to be well, maybe not this summer, but it's going to be a winter blowout or a spring stampede or the fall fallout or just something. It's going to have some sort of
brought to you by
bash, right? I don't know. We'll try to get players to come, former players. We might just do it up, man. Get it catered.
Charge admission. I want a party where you need permits. That's what I want.
Or t-shirts.
Yeah.
We'll just hang out.
I'd go to that.
We'll have t-shirts. All right, so that's cool. I mean, nobody has mentioned me yet. Yeah, so
I mean, I didn't mean to kiss your ass or anything like that, but like those were the three names that popped out. And I'm like, I know I'm gonna be well fed. Like you come in and you talk about your wife's like meals and food all the
you will
time.
be fed. You will have alcohol or non-alcohol, whatever you prefer.
Um,
So you'll the food and drink.
you're checking all the boxes right now, Joe.
Food, drink. If you need bedding, that's there as well. I live near the ocean, so if you got I'm a 5 mile ride to the ocean, so that's fairly easy enough. Yeah,
You're taking home the crown.
I
It's
think
decided. It's decided.
and yeah, and everybody, a lot of the other people I asked did say Sean Silver. Tucker's been mentioned a few times.
Who's the leader in the clubhouse right now?
I think it might be Sean Silver because that's who most of the people have mentioned. And no, I don't live near Revere, Mike. I do. Well, I kind of do, but I'm not Revere. I'm Peabody. So I live near Salem or Beverly. I think there's even water in Peabody, but I don't have a boat.
You're right
That's
there.
the only thing I don't have, Mike. So anyways, I know you're a hockey guy, right? Is it like me? I don't want to be
that's my number one sport.
okay. I don't want to be considered the gambling guy. Yes, I can be the gambling guy, but dude, I'll talk football, baseball, basketball. I'll talk soccer. You want to talk soccer? I'll talk soccer with you. You want to talk tennis? Hell yeah, let's do tennis. I don't want to be labeled as a certain guy. I just don't want to do that. It's fine. Hey, Joe's the gambling guy. Cool. I can talk gambling, but I don't want to be boxed in. I don't want to be like, all right, he's just that guy. You're a hockey guy because you've been on the road with the game, with players, minor league, right? I mean, is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. And I like you, I don't want to be boxed in, but everyone has kind of their first love they would talk about. And I grew up with hockey. I played it poorly back in high school, but my first job, first broadcast job was a play-by-play guy for a minor league hockey team in Trenton called the Titans in the ECHL, if you know that league. And
Trenton Titans.
The Trenton Titans. And so since then, it's been basically 13 years, 15 years, something like that of hockey play-by-play. So just by nature of my profession and my career path, yeah, I'm a hockey guy. Let's be honest.
Okay, so obviously you've heard about some of the stuff, and we'll do a little football. A little hockey and football and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Throughout the show here, but obviously the season had to come to a hold in the NHL, and it looks like they're going to start back up. Now I don't have the exact date, but it looks like it's going to be a 24 team format, and teams will play in for it. But overall, are you fine with the 24 teams? And I'll just give you my opinion quickly. I love the fact that Canada's involved in this. If it's truly about there's too many teams, or I don't want the Canadians, in this, the reason I'm looking at it is because of the fact that you're going to get that Montreal market, right? Don't you want that? If it's going to be about ratings and everything like that, get the Canadians in. If they get swept, they get swept. But Toronto, they could be a sleeper, man. There's a lot of talent there. Even in the Western Conference, trying to sneak a few teams, the Winnipeg and teams like that in, that's good for the Montreal market. But overall, do you want to see a 12-team playoff instead of, let's say, the traditional 18?
No, I think you have to give those teams that were kind of on the bubble. You got to give them a chance getting the playoffs. Obviously, no one wanted the season to end as abruptly and the way it did. But there's enough jostling down towards the eighth seed, the eighth spot in each conferences, that you got to give these teams a chance to play their way in the playoffs. Now, the other side of me remembers when, what was it, 16 of 21 teams made it in the NHL to the playoffs back in the 80s. And I like that it's gotten to a point where I guess just over half the teams making the postseason. But these are, I hate this phrase, but these are unprecedented times, Joe. And so
we're all in this together.
We're all in this together. We have to, we make the exception for this year, but yeah, give these teams that are on the bubble the chance to get themselves in the postseason. And I think, you're going to get down to 16 teams fast enough. You got best of 5 series, all right, a week, and now you're going to have your 16 teams.
So I like it. Again, I like the fact that the Canadian factors in there. I'm just glad there's going to be hockey. I understand there might be some players who don't opt to play in. That's fine. I wanted to bring up a couple of things real quick regarding hockey in general. One, I think people think the Bruins are getting hosed here. Like they're obviously
No.
going to play around Robin. So I'm glad you feel that way. You know, they were the best team in hockey this year until the season ended. So like, why can't they continue to be that team if you're going to have four
Yeah.
teams? So like, I don't think they're being screwed. You obviously feel the same way.
Well, I think they are being hosed, but not for the reason most people are thinking. Oh, they're the best team in hockey. Why can't they just be the number one team? Well, if you're the best team, go be the best team. But if you're going to allow for some jostling at the bottom of the standings and getting the playoffs, then you got to allow for some jostling and some maneuvering at the top of the standings, especially when you take the Western Conference into the equation, where things were a little tighter than what it was in the Eastern Conference. But why the Boston Bruins are getting screwed or hosed, and no fault of their own, and really no fault of the NHL, is that they're the best home team in the NHL this season, pretty much. And they're going to have to play their games neutral sites, just like everybody else. So it's a level playing field. But when you take the best home team in the league and say you can't play at the Garden, you got to play someplace else, that's going to be a bit of a factor, I think.
I do too. And dude, I can give you some numbers. When it comes to some of the teams that they played against, and like they've done very well against like Columbus, Tampa Bay, Toronto. Like, so I just think that they should be able to beat those teams anyways.
Right.
And if the one thing with the Bruins too is the fact that you're going to get this rest here. Like, isn't that the one thing that kind of hurt them last year against the Blues was they played against a physical team and they didn't get
They're
that
banged
rest.
up.
Exactly. Everybody was banged up. We heard about Marchand in an exhibition game, when there was time before the playoffs to the Stanley Cup to start, he got hurt. Bergeron, we know about his history, right?
Yeah.
So right now, like Rask had all the time off. Halak's been a great goal. Like I'd even be curious if maybe that's another angle that we don't see is maybe they do play two goaltenders because they're not ready to stay fresh like that. And what better tandem than maybe Tuukka and Halak? I don't think people have really talked about that.
Yeah, best tandem in the league. More last year than this year, maybe statistically, but Tuukka's been unbelievable.
They won the award this year.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it was more Tuukka this year than it was, the tandem like it was last year. But, I just don't know. God bless these players. I don't know how you all stay in shape for as long as you need to right now when you can't go to the rink, when you really can't go anywhere. I mean, that's what it's all well and good for the skaters. Like Chara, obviously, is a guy who can benefit from the time off. The older guys on the roster can benefit from the time off. But if you're a goaltender and you're kind of in the zone, how does a 2-month layoff?
I don't know how it is for anybody.
Yeah.
It's interesting, dude. It's going to be really interesting, and I think that's what's great about it. But I think what's great about hockey in general is we've had a different champion now. How many different years in a row, right? Yeah. Like every year,
last back to back was Pittsburgh, right?
Right. I think you might know something about that. We'll talk about that in a minute here. But yeah, and I just have one more thing. I don't want to bore people with hockey stuff, but I know people are excited for it to come back. This is a true lose-lose situation for Tuukka Rask this year.
Oh yeah,
it's not his, and this is not his fault, right? Game 7 at home last year, your fault. Giving up 2 goals in the final whatever in Game 6 against the Blackhawks to force a Game 7, your fault. Being up 3-0 in a series and losing to Philadelphia 4 straight, that's your fault. So what I look at it this year is if the Bruins win it all. Asterisk, Tuukka Rask, played in a season with a pandemic, with a different playoff structure.
Yeah.
And, you didn't do it. And if he loses, it's kind of like, well, you couldn't even do it when you were the best team in the regular season in a pandemic. And and I'll be the first to tell you, I don't think home ice matters in hockey. I'm telling you as a betting guy, none. I mean, again, Game 7 at home against the Blues last year, So I don't know where they're going to play. I'm interested to see where it does happen. I don't think it will be Boston.
No, but I don't. That's not on the short list right now for sure.
But how do you feel about that? Do you think? I think Tuukka Rask will always be a polarizing figure, always in this town. He's probably the greatest goaltender they've ever had. But the more I look at it, he could win this year, and you're going to throw up a little asterisk right next to it.
I was doing a little digging before we hopped on the air today and just looking at best goaltenders to not win the Stanley Cup. And you have Curtis Joseph, who's probably atop that list right now. You have Henrik Lundqvist, who's definitely in the mix, Robert Luongo, and a couple others. But those are probably the biggest names. And I feel like those goaltenders are, despite the fact they haven't won a Stanley Cup, they're just universally loved. Like, not a lot of people dislike Henrik or Hank. Not a lot of people are going to say bad things about Cujo. Robert Luongo gets a lot of fame and I won't say fortune, but gets a lot of love because he's got a hilarious Twitter feed as well.
Yeah.
But Tuukka, you have his supporters, but you have a lot of detractors, and he's going to end up with a Hall of Fame career, regardless of the cup or not. But for whatever reason, I mean, not for whatever reason, there are reasons where, you had a chance to win the cup a couple times, it didn't come through, and like you said, if he wins it this year, I'm not sure how much that's going to erase the bad feelings. But then again, it could be a hell of a story. After years and years of failure in the Stanley Cup playoffs, he finally comes through. Will people, when they look back at this 5-10 years from now, care that it was a pandemic or a quarantine Stanley Cup, like they don't necessarily refer to the lockout shortened season and who won the Stanley Cup that year?
It's interesting you say that. Greatest goaltenders to not win the Stanley Cup. And again, people can chat in. We do have a chat feature. It's on Facebook, right on there, or on Twitter. People can go to Periscope as well, where this is a highly rated podcast, Mike O'Brien. A lot of people checking in. You know who you didn't mention, and I'm just poking holes at you. Ron Hextall.
Right? I didn't mention him because I thought he was going a little too far back. But he's probably number two.
Okay, Ron Hextall, Curtis Joseph is one. Mikko Kiprusoff, right? He's been pretty good. Ryan Miller. Right, he was pretty good for a period of time. Olaf Kolzig, maybe. Am I going?
I think you and I were looking at the same list.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, I just did a quick Google.
Yeah, like Mike Liut's in there. Eddie Jockman's in there. I think they go down to like Thomas Vakun.
Yeah, like Nabokov was in there at one point. Like, I'm looking at this list, but Tuukka Rask, that's the name, man. That's the biggest name. You want to headline a list? It's him. It's so him, and oh god, he's so polarizing, dude. He's so Lundqvist, Luongo should have won one, and I think the Bruins were the one that held him out, right? So the more I look at it, that's a good list, man. That's a good list.
Sorry, I thought I wanted to keep things current, and plus I didn't want to mention Ron.
All right, you go. You do wherever you go wherever you got to go, because whatever makes your argument. Remember that in this business, man, it's whatever
makes your argument.
It's like at home with the wife, right? I mean, it's like shit. Why did you do? Oh, and you can swear, by the way. But it's
I see the advisory,
the parental advisory. It's what it used to get on the old CDs and tapes back in the day. But yeah, like it's at home. It's like if you ever like you knew you had nothing, but you're gonna die on that hill, man. Like that's what I do. What I do sometimes, but. You are right. Maybe it would be a good story. Like, hey, the Bruins lost the Stanley Cup last year, came back with the best team the next year, even through a pandemic with mostly foreign players who have to come over from, leave the, like, Chara came from Florida. Right. And he drove up here with his family, and I think they need to be quarantined for 14 days. But at some point, the facility is going to be open in a week. There'll be individual workouts. But there might be some players who choose not to play. That's going to be interesting. But no matter what, could be a really good story. Like, hey, Tuukka Rask got his. He's already talked about retirement, like towards the end of his contract. There's just a lot there, and I think this might be, as the team goes, might be their best, maybe their only opportunity left.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: Jim Kelly, and the famous for losing 4 straight Super Bowls with the Buffalo Bills. If he lost 3 straight and then won that 4th one, would people still be like, not a great quarterback, or it's all his fault?
No. And people still think he's great. He went to 4.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I don't understand, because like you can go, you have Jim Kelly who went to 4 straight Super Bowls, lost every one, and everyone kind of views him in a positive light. Tuukka Rask has been to 3 Stanley Cup finals not finals, but 2 finals, but the Flyer series,
the Flyer series, He's been to 2 finals. He obviously he was the backup
when they won.
When they won. So he's been to 3 finals. He was the backup when they won. So
Two and a half.
Okay. Okay, 2.5. I still think that one run by Tim Thomas won't be beat, but whatever. We won't beat that to death. I just hope there's not an asterisk there. He is Mike O'Brien. I met Mike O'Brien at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I heard a new guy's coming in. He's gonna sit with me one day, and we shot the shit and hit it off cool and hung out, and it was fun. And what I want to do is get to know you. I want to get to know you a little bit. You mentioned the Trenton.
Oh, he found him. There it is.
Let me see if I can get this bad boy. Yeah, look at that logo, man. Huh?
Yeah, that's the bridge that crosses from Pennsylvania to New Jersey into Trenton, and there's a big sign along the bridge that goes, "Trenton makes, the world takes." That's their motto.
Ooh,
yes. So
I like that one.
Actually, that was a great gig. One, it wasn't too far away from where I grew up, outside of Philly. Trenton is not too far away from the Princeton area too, which is a great place to hang out and to live. And also, they won the championship, the Kelly Cup championship. I believe it was my second year there. So I got the college championship.
And what affiliate were they a part of?
They were the Flyers.
The Flyers affiliate.
The Flyers.
So where were you born?
I was born, in Philadelphia, but I grew up probably Villanova is where the town that people know the most.
So you're a Philly kid. You grew up.
I'm a Philly kid, yeah.
Philadelphia, like not West Philadelphia, like Will Smith, but
West suburbs Philadelphia. Okay. So in the western suburbs of Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds.
That's where you spent most of your days. And you're a Flyers, Sixers.
I'm Philly across the board.
And Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. No. Sorry about that Super Bowl, but you guys are.
No, it's okay. We had 6 other.
No, you done pretty okay before and after, from what I remember.
Yeah. They've been okay. I think they've been okay. So you're a Philly kid. You went to BC. How the hell did that happen?
So I wanted to go somewhere that was kind of like medium sized in or near a big city. Like I like growing up, near Philly. I didn't want, and kind of like not too big, not too small. I want to go someplace with D1 athletics. So not necessarily to play. I wasn't going to play, but I just want to be able to like go to like a big time football game, be able to go to like a big time basketball or hockey game. And just as I was doing the search, BC checked off a lot of boxes. So I applied there, a couple other places, and just ended up getting in there early. I'm like, all right, that's enough of that. Let's do that. So up to Boston I went. And when you look at where I grew up and where BC is and kind of compare it to Philadelphia and Boston, like there are just so many similarities. And I just loved how passionate the sports town it was as well. And BC was pretty good at a lot of sports when I was there too. So that didn't hurt.
Wow, dude. Okay. So I'm looking at the 99 BC football team. So the 99 team was Tim Hasselbeck. To kind of let you know, locally here, we had a school called Zavarian. It's in Westwood, and they'd pump out talent, dude. Both Hasselbecks. Their brother was pretty good too. He was a wide receiver. He played at UMass and BC.
Yeah.
Brian St. Pierre was on that team. He was a backup. Yeah. Played locally here at St. John's.
I think Scott Mutrin had a year as well.
Willie Green, remember him?
Mike Loud was there as well.
Yep, and I'm looking at Cedric Washington was probably the big back that year. Willie Green, man, wow, he was a first round pick. If you remember him, there was a tight end that I'm looking at here. He was actually my teacher in high school, and he was a tight end at BC. His name was Brian Arndt. He was my teacher, dude, in high school. He was huge. Yeah, he was. So obviously he was playing at BC, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to become a teacher." So he did. You know how they do like 6 months in school, 6 months, like whatever. Yeah. He was my history teacher in high school, and I'm looking at that year. He had 27 catches for 340 yards and a touchdown against Notre Dame. And I remember like when he scored that touchdown, I was like, "Holy shit, I know that guy." You know what I mean? But it's, I'm just looking back on it because I graduated high school in 2000. So, but yeah, I'm just looking back on that team and like, damn, They were a good little football squad. And Danya Abrams, dude, like he
Yeah,
was a hell of a like basketball player. I know he played overseas. I actually talked to him like years ago when BC made the tournament. Um, like back in their heyday, the Jared Dudley days. And I used to do radio with Brian Ross, if you remember him. He played
yeah,
he was just like a sharpshooter who played on those teams. But yeah, man, BC, dude, they had a great run here. And that's what's sad about this town is you think about all the college teams, right? The
yeah.
Northeasterns, the hockey, BU, Northeastern, Harvard, you name them all. But like it's just not a big draw here. It's just not. And BC is now, goes from the Big East to the ACC. I thought that hurt them. People
Oh, big
thought
time.
that people think that might have been better for them. Yeah, maybe it was financially and with contracts and things of that degree in television, but that hurt them. They can't get the recruits. And the biggest thing now is, Mike, they can't get hometown talent to stay. And if they do, they go right from high school right to BC and they can't hack it. I mean, I'll just give you a name, Chris Herron,
Oh
who
yeah,
played at BC. His kid, star in high school, went straight to BC. Didn't do the I don't know if he went to junior prep, but there are these kids that have to go right to there, while other kids are doing a year of prep in Tilton, New Hampshire, or something like that, and then going to Kentucky or going to these other big schools. That's the problem here in Boston is they can't keep their local talent.
yeah. I remember when I was in school there. I think his name was Jonathan Pina or Pena.
Oh
There
yeah,
were two
yeah,
recruits
yep.
who got into BC. Jim O'Brien was the coach, and
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, Scooney Penn, and these two guys were coming in, and this was supposed to be like one of the best recruiting classes in all of college basketball, which was kind of unheard of at that time for BC. And then the I guess the president, Father Leahy, was like, "Nope, these guys aren't going to hack it,"
Yeah.
and rescinded their scholarship and their admission. And that's when Jim O'Brien went to Ohio State, and you could say that might be the beginning of the downturn of the Boston College basketball program at that point. But yeah,
Mm.
I thought going the ACC at the time was a good move for the football team. I I'm a Big East guy from following Villanova growing up, and just what a great basketball conference that was. And so I was lamenting the fact that there won't be any more Big East matchups, but never really occurred to me that BC can compete against your Virginia Techs, your Syracuses, your West Virginias, those
Yeah.
Big East teams when it came to recruiting. But when you put them in the ACC with Miami, Florida State, Clemson,
Yeah.
even
Duke,
Georgia Tech, Duke, UNC, like, you don't
Wake
have a chance. You
Forest,
don't have a
NC State.
chance.
Yep, you don't. And it's hurt them. It's hurt them tremendously. So you got a job. Wow, it's interesting. So you got a job from BC in hockey. You said you were with Philadelphia, and then you were with the Devils for a bit. Is that where you went after that?
So what happened? This is crazy. So the Titans were a Flyers affiliate, and the New Jersey Devils were snatching up affiliates in the AHL and ECHL at the time. So New Jersey Devils, remember they had the Lowell Devils. They basically bought the Lock Monsters, changed them to the Lowell Devils, and they were playing up with the Songas. And then they bought the Trenton Titans and turned them into the Trenton Devils. Uh, you know, tough name change because you're basically putting a New Jersey Devils team in what is the heart of basically Philadelphia fandom. It's on the New Jersey side, but it's basically Philly, and they did not take kindly to that name change.
Interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, and that's when the Devils were trying making big moves to try and like brand themselves as New Jersey's team. So, all right, New Jersey will be in the north, Trenton Devils will be in the south, and we're going to control hockey in the state. And Southern Jersey was like, nah,
Was
no
this one?
thanks.
Was this when like the Nets were big with Jason Kidd and like during that era? Like, what were the Devil? Were the Devils like consistently really good every? Because they were a really dominant team. What in the
Yeah, so this was
90s,
this
the
was
2000s? They
2000.
won a cup too. You know.
Yeah, this was 2000. So the late aughts, late 2000s. So like 2006 to 2010. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think that was Jason Kidd time. New Jersey Nets time. Um, but it just never worked out. And that's when like Lou Lamoriello just built the Prudential Center down there and was just trying to make New Jersey Devil's country. And I'm not even sure if Devil's country is actually
Uncle Lou.
Devil's country.
Uncle Lou. So, do you have any Lou stories?
I don't have any loose. Well, There are a lot of loose stories, but just to say that there is a Lamorella way to do things, and if you do them the way you're supposed to do things. You will last long and thrive in the organization. But if if you find yourself maybe questioning some of the methodology too much, or straying from that path, you might be on the other side of that coin.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
the Lowell Devils. Here's what I remember. A friend of ours, Ryan Johnston,
Yep.
was the play-by-play guy. So, like, what happened? He was the play-by-play guy, and then ownership changed, and then you became the play-by-play guy.
This is a a great story, but easily one of the most horrible times of my career. So I came up to Lowell as the PR guy. So I was doing the radio down in Trenton. The PR guy in Lowell left, and they basically wanted to call me up like a player, like, "Hey, listen, our PR guy left. You want to come up to the AHL?" I'm like, "All right. Do I want to leave the play-by-play? Do I want to leave the radio? But it's a chance in the American Hockey League, a step up. It's getting back to Boston, a city that I loved." I was like, "All right, let's do it." So my first year there, I was like just PR guy. RJ was the radio guy, and that was fine. But I started to get the itch a little bit to get back on air. So I asked RJ, like, "Listen, for home games, do you want a color guy? Like, I'm not trying to take your job. I thought if I was going to go anywhere for play-by-play, it would be elsewhere, but get some reps, scratch the itch a little bit. And, 2-man booth, I figured would be better than 1-man booth. Not that RJ needed me. He's fantastic at play-by-play.
Yeah.
So that went for a year. That worked out. And I got to the off season of that second year, and there was a disagreement, but just I think our organization, specifically management, wanted to go with a different radio station. And unlike a lot of teams where the radio guy works for the team, RJ worked for WCAP in Lowell. So they weren't going to go to another radio station and
bring the guy
keep RJ. So
that
we went to a different.
See, that sucks, right? Because it's like here. It happened here actually with basketball. Grandy and Max worked for the Celtics. Well, they were on one station. The Celtics went to 98.5 The Sports Hub. So they left that station and they came over to 98.5 The Sports Hub. But it's like because they were, but here, but you're right. When the rights are with the station, it's kind of like the station chooses who they want to be that guy. And that sucks. And not to mention, the Devils in general went through how much turnover, and you're the guy in the middle of it all.
So I'm the guy in the middle. So we go with they just did a great article. Was it 1450 the zone?
Oh, 1510 the zone. Yeah, that's where 15
zone. Yeah. So that's where we went with, and one of like first years.
Oh no shit! I worked. I was probably a board op back then. Holy crap! Lowell Devils hockey.
Lowell Devils hockey was on.
And you were the play-by-play guy.
And I was the play-by-play guy.
Oh my god! I might have ran the board for you. I don't remember this. Like,
I mean, all 7 or 8 listeners. I'm sure
Hey, that was a 50,000 watt power.
That was the thing. We were like, we're on this humongous station, but unfortunately, you can't really get it in Boston.
You can only get it on the water. And don't worry, I worked there. So I'd be like, "Hey, where are you from?" "I'm down the Cape." "Oh, dude, 1510. You got to try it." But it's like anywhere, like in the not near the ocean. It was like, forget it.
Yeah,
I don't get it, dude. I don't understand. It's a 50,000 watt station. I was there, so I know all about it. I used to show people like, "Hey, let's hear you see your range." The damn tower is in the middle of the ocean. So the boats get the same. You can listen to 1510 all day on your boat. But like in Boston, where you're trying to get money and advertisers, the shit was like, scar.
So like you could probably get it down in Connecticut, but you couldn't get anywhere like if you're a Lowell Devils fan.
Dude,
all 32 of them. But here's the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say one time I was in the mountains and I got 1510. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Here's the worst part of the story, from my vantage point, is that my boss told me about the change. He asked me, it's like, "We want you to be a play-by-play guy." I'm like, "Great." He's like, "Go tell RJ." I'm like, you cannot make me do. I'm like, I'm the guy. You cannot make me fire the guy that I'm replacing. Like, you can't make me do that. He's like,
I had him on. We discussed a little bit of this.
Yeah.
When we had it on, But like, so you had to have the conversation. This is
I
great.
had the conversation, be like, listen, we're going with the change. It's this guy's call. And he's like, well, what are you going to do with the radio? It's like, me. So like for all the times I told him, like, listen, I don't want your job. I'm not trying to take your
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
I'm taking your job.
And you
And
guys
that was,
you guys crossed paths though throughout hockey, right?
yeah.
Or obviously at the sports hub, it happened.
Yeah, that was
You
like
know,
the first time I was on his show with him and Flynn. He was kind of like, so Mike O'Brien's here with us today. You may have heard him before. Hey Flynn, you know, Obi fired me. That was like that was the first thing he mentioned. I'm like, all right, we're gonna get into this.
that's so
yeah,
funny.
yeah,
And obviously, you know, Ryan's does fantastic. He does a fantastic job.
Oh, he's
and,
unbelievable.
you know, he had a shot in the big leagues, and there was, you know, he'll find a gig. It'll work out for him someday. You're continuing to do your thing, and it's just weird, dude. Like in this business, right?
Yeah.
We're not in competition with each other, but in a way, it's like you cross paths with people, and it's just how it is, man. But like, you know, I worked in like programming once. I was a sales guy, and had to like, you know, move around programming, and you know, I had to tell a kid one day, hey, we're moving you from 2 to 4 to 4 to 6. You know, you're gonna go from 2 to 4 to 4 to 6. You know, drive time. Like,
yeah, that's huge.
I thought it would be like it's a bump. You're going 4 to 6, and the dude like hated it and ripped the staff, and like I was a part of that, and it's like, dude, like we didn't, all we changed was your time slot. Like,
yeah, in theory, a better time slot too.
Yeah,
right?
and it didn't go over well, and like, you know, it burned a relationship. And you know, dude, it wasn't my idea. Like, you know, I was just the guy who had to tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
I've just been trying to like pay. I've just been trying to like pay penance ever since to RJ.
Yeah, but dude, that's how it happens, man.
Yeah.
It sucks in this business, but you know, radio nowadays is like, hey, what job do you need me to do today? You want me to, you know, go call cornhole? I'll do cornhole, man. You know, you need me to do
I was just reading. I was reading an article about the guy who's like the official voice of cornhole, and he got the job because a guy who was the official voice of cornhole before that left to do ultimate frisbee. Like that's the world we're living in right now.
So you went there, and then Devils, somehow you ended up in Pittsburgh again, or with the minor league affiliate?
So what happened was, this is another long story, but I'll just cut it short. Basically, Albany, Lowell, the Devils moved to Albany for a variety of factors. I ended up not going. And this is funny how like the broadcast world works out. So I was ready to go to Albany at the last moment. It didn't work out. So like I'd already given up my place in Somerville. You know, they had someone ready to move in. Like, so I was kind of up Schitt's Creek a little bit. I went back home, went back to Philly, like did that stereotypical, like, all right, move back in with the family and try and figure next things out or next steps out. And I interviewed for an opening with the Hershey Bears as their play-by-play guy. Pretty, like, in terms of AHL teams, like that's a pretty good gig. Like one of the most successful and oldest franchises in the AHL. I didn't get it. But the guy who did get it was a buddy of mine I knew. And he's like, hey, and he was the color guy in Wilkes-Barre Scranton doing the PR. He's like, hey, I know you didn't get the job, but would you want my old gig? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't want to go back to color. I don't want to go back to PR. And just the whole Devils thing, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth at the time.
What team was that?
I'm like, this was the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. But the Devil, like with how everything went down with the Devils, like I was kind of I'm not even sure if I want to get back in the AHL. Like I was all out of sorts. So he's like, we just talk to the guy here at the Penguins and see what you think. And I talked to him, and just everything I heard about the organization and the entire conversation went great. And I ended up going there. And so started out as the color guy and PR guy, and then the play-by-play guy. Left to go for an NHL job with the Florida Panthers as like a team services guy. So got out of broadcasting and just went to the NHL, and another situation where it's like right place, right time, and I did play-by-play there for 5 years before coming up to there it is. There's the logo. Huh? Look at that logo. Yeah.
You just pull that thing right up.
Yeah, he's a little top heavy. He's like the Kool-Aid man. He's a little top heavy there. A lot of upper body, not a lot of leg days.
That's a sick logo.
It's a great
You get
logo.
a little trademark in there. Wow. You look at that, huh?
So
Wow.
that's 5 years, and then up here to Boston 2 years ago to follow a lady.
That's what happens about a girl, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's
they
all
said,
had to go see about a girl.
Goodwill Hunting. It's dude, look, there's gonna be plenty of work, dude. Like I'm out of work right now, but I work in sales. I'm trying to get full time in radio, and we'll see what happens. But like there are jobs out there. It's just you got to grind, man. You know how it
Oh
is.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, I got something. You got to be available, and it's easy to say, oh yeah, we'll work out, but it's like, dude, like I'm
You got to
working
work.
12 days in a row, and then I'm off for 30 or 40. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we got to. It's how it is in this business. If you want to do it, you got to hustle.
That, especially right now, like that was like you said, I do a lot of play by play, especially at the colleges around here. And like my January, February, and March were just unbelievably busy. Coming off, I think it was something like 14 straight days of play by play until coronavirus, and it was just like shut down.
And really, it's affected it's so weird. Like everybody I know, we're all in this business together. We're all in this together. But like, dude, everyone's taking hits. It's just it's unfortunate what's happening in the world, but at the same time, I guess I never realized like the impact it would have on sports.
Right.
And I find myself now like no sports are on at night, and I'm like fine. Like I don't really like in a way I miss it. Like I want the sports to come back. I want to be able to talk about the NHL and NBA and all this stuff, but I don't know. I kind of like watching a bad movie and going to bed, or like not worrying about my sports team. Like my anxiety's up for different reasons, not because of like sport, not because of sports. You know what I mean?
I'm completely okay. I'm completely okay with honestly having a break from sports. To be honest, like it's so much of our lives, 365 days out of the year. Like, all right, take a little breather here, whether it's it's mandatory or not, or whether it's by your choice or not. Like I'm okay with
And you're
catching up on bad TV, binging, like
you're
being
fairly
home.
newlywed, right?
What's that?
You're fairly newlywed, right?
Oh yeah, last November. So yeah, first year of marriage.
Yeah.
And listen, I was joking with Elizabeth. If we can make it through our first year of marriage during quarantine times, like we'll be fine. We'll be fine from here on out.
You can't, you'll learn quick. It's like, oh yeah, oh shit. Dude, it's been like 10 weeks, man. It's been 10 weeks.
And I don't have a man cave. Like the best I can do is like, this is the office, like sequester myself in here. Like she's out in the living room, or, we shut ourselves in the bedroom or whatnot. Like there's 3 rooms here. So like the furthest we can get from each other is like essentially like 20 yards.
Yeah. Short story. So what, you just applied to the sports hub one day, they contacted you, and
so
how'd that happen?
Mike Thomas, again, who and it's such a small world. He was the public address announcer for the Little Devils.
Oh,
when I was there
years ago. That's right.
It's a program, former program director of the Sports Hub. So so I just always kind of kept in touch with him, and then here and there. And then when I got back, I was like, listen, I'm in town. If do you need anything? And he was awesome. He's like, yeah, come on. Well, come on board. And talked to Rick Radsick, and it turned out to be a match. And there you go.
Well, that's one good thing about the Sports Hub is like, you're the new guy, nobody knows you, but like, if people like you, they'll bring you in, or hey, let's get to know you, or do things like that. And it's good to kind of just read updates, get your feet wet again. Like you don't really know the city, like you don't. So it's kind of like, yeah, you've been here, but like the hits are, hey, the Red Sox, and here's the lineup, and any Patriots news and anything going on with the Celtics, or stick to what's big at the station, then kind of move on. But like here, it's dominant Patriots 24/7. We're talking about this today. In 2000, dude, the Red Sox were the biggest thing.
For sure.
Pedro Martinez is off an MVP season. The All-Star
Red Sox, Yankees, like that entire late 90s, early 2000s was Red Sox, Yankees. That's it.
Especially 20 years ago, dude. It was huge. It was so big. The Celtics sucked. They went on a little bit of a run, like that 0-2 run, and then they blew it all up. The Antoine Walker, Paul Pierce days. That was good stuff. But again, they blew it all up. So we really didn't have a team. And then in 01, obviously the Patriots took over, and that was it. It turned into something here. But it's funny now how like the Patriots still dominate. Like I today I'm doing headlines. Yeah, there's this baseball thing happening, And I'm like, oh well, Rob Gronkowski is no longer the WWE 24/7 champion because there's nothing else. Do you want to hear about Notre Dame and Army not playing or Navy not playing in Ireland? Like what? Like there's just nothing else to talk about. So you lean on Patriots so much here, and you could be like, oh hey, the BU played last night, BC. It's like nope, nothing. Or unless there's like the Bean Pod or something like that. It's just.
Do you think
dominant pro sport?
Like let's say they go a couple years without a Super Bowl. Do you think like another team kind of even comes close to kind of taking the top spot?
It has to be the Celtics at some point, right?
Yeah.
They just invest so much. They got to put so much money into Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum that they got this new facility here. The Bruins are going to try to continue to still be good. I think the Patriots will still be good. I do.
Yeah, but just in terms of like sucking up all the oxygen, does like another team ever come close? Like if the Patriots just slide a little bit in terms of
who do you think's the next, like Tom Brady, right? Polarizing figure. We had David Ortiz and Paul Pierce. So Pierce goes, Ortiz is gone. Now Brady's gone. Chara is going to retire in the next couple of years. Bergeron's probably going to be, because Bergeron's just not on that level. He's Hall of Fame talent. Doesn't really speak up though, and that's not a fault against him or anything. He is what he like. That's what makes him great. But who's the next riser? Who's the next guy? And like we can't really tell with baseball because they traded Mookie Betts. So Devers isn't going to ring the. They're we don't know. Like there's just not that guy. In football, like who is it? Is it Stidham? Like it's just.
I mean, for the Celtics, you got Tatum and Brown. I mean, Tatum is probably your next guy.
You're probably right.
You can make a case for Pasternak if he continues. He took that next step. He already made a leap, but he took that next step this year. And if he continues to keep that level, he's probably your next guy.
Great point with Pasternak because he's funny, right? He does these Dunkin' Donuts commercials. He can talk a little bit. He's done bits like with Toucher and Rich.
Yeah,
he's funny. Like, can they sell him? That's the thing. Like Lucic was a good player here, very good player. Sometimes underwhelming, but spoke up, was tough, good looking, could get into the media, and it worked here. Like Sean Thornton again was a fourth liner here, but everyone loved him.
Sure,
it worked out. It's just like Marchand. Could it be him? Could he be? You're right.
He's too old at this point. Like in terms like
right, Pasternak and Tatum are these guys that are going to go next level, but are they marketable?
I think championships.
I think Jaylen Brown wants to be.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bring up what's happening in the world, but that's you stepped up.
Yeah, he's out there.
Marcus Smart's out there, like Enes Kanter, and I know he's not a star player, but like these guys have been out there. It's just can they be marketable? Because when you talk about suck all the oxygen out, that's what Tom Brady does. Yeah. That's what he did for 20 years here. So maybe it's Bill Belichick still. like can Brad Stevens do it? Like,
not in the way that Bill can.
Yeah, and it's just it's interesting that we're talking about that because like I don't know, we're talking about sports and do we need it and do we want? Well, yeah, we want it, but like, do we need it? At the same time, is there someone that you're going to stop what you're doing to watch?
I'm so excited. Like, I hope I don't want to say I hope this because I know people that work for the Red Sox and work in baseball, but if baseball can't get its shit together, I cannot wait for hockey to be kind of the only sport going on and going like right into playoffs. Like, and people are going to be so starved for sports that they're just gonna be like, this is going to be awesome.
And I bet you what will happen, I think, is that the NBA will try to do double headers. This is our night, where the NHL might do the same thing too. They switch off on nights. It's like a ratings battle. Like, hey, or maybe they both play on the same nights, and it's a ratings. But hey, what'd you watch last night? That could be really good. Who I think's really missing out on this, and I know it's kind of low key, but like MLS, this could be their chance. Like everyone wants to start July 31st.
Yeah.
But like if they could like get it together, like they could be like the featured, hey, there's nothing to watch. Let's watch MLS. There's not enough eyes on MLS right now. Right. Are they missing the boat on it? Because I'd probably watch. I bet on everything. So like, but I probably would watch.
Serie A is coming back over in Italy. Premier League's coming back too, right? Is that
17th? Yep.
So if those soccer leagues are coming back, and I know it's across the ocean and different countries, but MLS, like if you can be right there with these other soccer leagues that are coming back in June and July, man, now's your time. I mean, you've been I can't even call you a fifth sport. You've probably been the
Yeah,
sixth or seventh sport
they're on,
in the United States. Now's your chance, man.
that was I think they missed the boat on that, and
Yeah.
we'll find out. But you mentioned baseball though, like 50-game season. I'd like to see it just to see the shit show that it is, but also go after all these purists, right? Oh, we can't do this to our game. Let us have someone hit 420. Let's just what if
Yeah.
someone hit 420? What if someone?
Whatever lessens the game total, I'm a fan of. 162 of anything is too much.
What if someone hit 50 home runs in 50 games?
Oh, awesome.
Right? I mean, like,
awesome.
But imagine the purists, right? Oh, we got to put an asterisk next to this. You know what I mean? But I do think this though, man. I'm serious. There's usually a 40-round draft. There's 5 this year.
Yeah.
They just pretty much fired all the minor leaguers.
Yeah.
All of them.
I don't know how you do 100. What was the last 114 games schedule?
Yeah.
How do you do that without a farm system?
Right, and they'd have their 40-man, I guess, their 40-man roster.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is like these guys who normally would take 15-day or whatever, a 10-day whatever, they might not do it because there's only 50 games. Like maybe like, oh, if I get a certain amount of starts, if my contract says if I get 7 starts or 10 starts, they're gonna force it. It's gonna hurt them. It's gonna whatever they do this year is setting the game back. It will set the game back. And I just while we're on it, Mookie Betts didn't take a $300 million deal with the Red Sox, moved on. He gets his service time this year. He's not going to get the money next year. It's unfortunate for him. I really do feel that way. I don't feel bad for athletes, okay, because they make a lot of money. I just wonder if that game will ever pay out that kind of money again.
Baseball? Well, I think the salaries for baseball are too high. I don't like that it doesn't have a true salary cap. I don't like that the salaries aren't kind of tied into revenues for the teams in the league. I think the NBA and the NHL does it right. I just think I think the way the salaries work in baseball and just kind of the entire economic structure lends to situations where they're just unwilling to move on anything. And the game has gotten worse because of it, in terms of length, in terms of the slow play, in terms of just like a lack of any willingness to incorporate innovation. Like that's something I'm most disappointed about, was a chance to maybe incorporate some of the innovations that are working in the minor leagues, or just a chance to do anything. But that's another season that's going to be washed away with, well, we can't change anything now because we're already changing so much.
They're losing me. And, one thing was just going to the park. That was an adventure back in the day. Hey, whatever park it was, right? Baseball was something that you did, and now it's like we don't care if it comes back or not. And
yeah,
I still think it's a great game. I do. The timing is still an issue.
I can't. I mean, that's a thing. Like it's too slow to watch on TV for 3 or 4 hours or whatever it is, and it's too slow to go to. To sit there for 3 or 4 hours.
I was going to say that. Imagine like your kids, right? And God bless our parents. They drop us off down at the park. We'd be there for what, 4 hours of the day and hang out with our friends after and shit. Now it's like you don't even know how long the games are going to be. You could drop them off, and 3 hours later they're still in the 4th inning. So do you want to even dedicate that time? I don't know if you can. That's why I think soccer is becoming big, because it's like 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean that as like serious, like. Your kid's going to play 2 halves of basketball and that's it. You know that you're going to play this for 90 minutes. Baseball, you don't know how long that shit's going to go. And especially when like you're a kid, it's all, you could be there all day. And then, do you even want to do travel leagues? Do you want to play in this? Dude, I used to play summer baseball. What the hell was I doing? You know what I mean? Like, what was I doing? I should have been down the Cape. Instead, I'm trying to hit home runs like Mo Vaughn. All right. A couple more things here, Mike. I want to throw in here. NBA, whatever. It's going to start up on July 31st. I'm interested in that. The NFL season is going to look different. I'm a Patriots fan. I know you're an Eagles fan. What do you think of them drafting Jalen Hurts?
I really went back and forth on this. because it has less to do with Jalen Hurts as much as more that the Eagles put themselves in a position where they had to draft for need. They needed help in the secondary. They needed help in especially
Wide
at wide receiver,
receiver.
but especially at wide receiver. And whether you like the Jalen Reagor pick or not, there were some wide receivers or perhaps better talent available in the second round. So when you put that backdrop, when it's not in a vacuum, it's tough to like the Jalen Hurts pick. But if you take that away, I think he's a good player, and I think he's a good. He's good backup for Carson Wentz. He's not your Nate Sudfeld or Chase Daniels, and obviously you're not going to have Nick Foles anymore. But Carson Wentz has shown an inability to stay on the field, and maybe Jalen Hurts can win you some games. And if he can add a little something dynamic to the offense, frankly, for an offense that has been less than dynamic since winning the Super Bowl back to 2 years ago at this point, why not? So that's kind of my rambling point on that one.
The Wentz thing for me, like, you can't get to a playoff game, get hurt, and then you're stuck with Josh McCown. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't be in that situation. And also, like, now you have to protect Wentz. You do. You have to protect him. They don't have their left tackle this year, right? Peters, he's not playing.
They got the first round draft pick from last year, Andre Dillard.
Yep. So, maybe in short yardage situations around the red zone, maybe you do play Hurts, right? I mean, he excelled in it in college. Dude, I was going to tell you this right now about him. Kyler Murray is probably the fastest quarterback I've ever seen. Michael Vick's up there. I know that.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone get to the outside like Kyler Murray, but Jalen Hurts can do it.
Yeah, he's got some legs.
And not to mention, dude, he has so much experience. And I know it's the SEC and like it's not the NFL, but I don't know. I think he can do a lot.
He can do some things, and I like his personality. I mean, to get replaced by Tua the way he did, and still kind of and still do all the right things, and
he had Oklahoma
teammate he was.
I had Oklahoma in the playoff, dude. Like he had them there, and they got beat by Baylor. They come back and beat them again, and like that was a huge win for Oklahoma last year. So yeah, I look at them and like Dallas is still my favorite in that division. I think Dallas will be a better team with McCarthy. They have to be a better team with McCarthy, and I think I think Dak needs that money, and he's gonna have to play well.
Yeah, and what was the guy? Going back to Jalen Hurts pick. The Jalen Hurts pick is fine. The problem is that Eagles fans had such problems with, I guess, mismanagement before and kind of during the draft. The fact that they weren't able to go up and maybe hop over Dallas to get CeeDee Lamb at pick, what was it, 16? And then you watch go to your division rival.
CeeDee Lamb's going to play the slot and be explosive.
Yeah. So everything after that, just
I'll tell you though, Reagor can do it all.
Yeah.
I thought he was drafted a little high, but hey, Peter he probably likes him. And at TCU, these guys really do play well. Like they come from, the couple of years ago, the Patriots drafted a kid, Josh Boyce. It just didn't work out here, but he was a talented kid. Reagor blows him out of the water, and I think.
I think he's more of an outside receiver, which the Eagles needed, as opposed to they have a lot of like slot receivers, a lot of possession receivers. They need someone who can, get outside and show some speed and show some dynamics.
All right, I got a question. So the Jordan documentary happened, and everybody just like went nuts about it. Now we're gonna get another Brady documentary. Like we really need that thing, right? And there was a Tiger one. I see this come out yesterday. Rocky documentary narrated by Sylvester Stallone at the debut next month. I'm in. I am like hard in on this.
Yeah.
But like you're a kid from like, does this give you goosebumps?
So here's the thing. This is a little bit of a kind of a not soft spot, but like a little bit of a something you like jab into for Phillies fans, because like for the longest time, our best athlete was a fictional character, Rocky, and it's subject to a big Bill Burr rant back in the day. So yeah, our number one athlete, the most successful athlete at one point in Philly, was someone who didn't exist, Rocky Balboa. That being said, love the movie, love the entire franchise, and who doesn't want to see a behind the scenes doc on something like this? Like, if you give me behind the scenes on The Natural, yeah. If you give me, behind the scenes or like a documentary on Slapshot, but like take that, but multiply it by however many Rocky movies there are, and tell me Paul Newman's doing it or Robert Redford's doing it. Sylvester Stallone's going to narrate this. So even though, like, as a Philly guy, I'm like, Rocky's not our best athlete. He's not even real. I'm like, I'm on board. I cannot not be on board for this documentary.
Well, who is the best athlete in Philadelphia?
Oh, Rocky. Kidding. All time in Philadelphia. I guess you'd have to say probably Will Chamberlain when he was there.
Yeah. What about like current? Maybe not right. Well, like because like Bryce Harper obviously is going to get paid forever to be there.
Yeah, Bryce Harper. I mean, Steve Carlton. These are all too old.
Who is your favorite?
I was a Ron Hextall guy growing up. Like I was playing street hockey and net. Like I wanted to be Ron Hextall. But growing up basketball wise, like Barkley and Iverson were my guys. Probably more Iverson than Barkley.
Allen Iverson was my heyday, big time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think about Philly. Like I remember Clarence Weatherspoon.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah,
and Dana Barros was from. I mentioned Xaverian High School. He went to Xaverian. Was an all-star for Philadelphia 76ers. Dana Barros, 3-point shooter, played for the Celtics as well.
His cousin Kunta Barros was my freshman roommate in college.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Oh, from BC. That's crazy.
BC, yep. So he was my could not have been like more opposite guys coming in, but he was a good dude. We got along.
Was he a hooper too?
No, not like Dana was. I never saw him play. Maybe he was. I never saw him play. He never was like, hey, let's go shoot some hoops.
I always loved that old Phillies team, with Schilling, Mitch Williams, Lenny
Dykstra,
Collins,
Incaviglia, Dalton. Kruk. Yeah.
I love John Kruk. That was kind of
yeah, that was a unique team. That was lightning in a bottle that year.
But that's all that people talk about. Right?
Yeah, we talked about this. How like Toronto won back-to-back World Series and no one cares about them.
Yep. Like those Philly teams with Barkley were great. They were good.
Yeah.
The Philly team with playing Bird those years were good. But people, even Philly now, man, like even if the Celtics get into this thing, like Embiid, I mean, I hope hasn't been sitting around eating chips. And I hope I hope what's his face there? The point guard Simmons is actually shooting threes.
Yeah.
If I was Simmons, I would just shoot threes for like 10 weeks straight.
He did, but then he gets in a game and then he won't do it. That's the thing. But the good thing is Embiid and Simmons were both injured when the season was cut short, so they can still go in and train and get treatment at the facility. So hopefully the coaches and the trainers have been like, eat less, run, work out, and also shoot threes.
Hey Mike, what's your favorite baseball movie?
Natural.
Quick. Football movie, huh?
Football movie? Oh man, I thought about this a little bit, and I mean, Philly guy. Oh God, why can't I? Invincible, was that the Vince Papale movie?
Oh, that's a Philly.
That's a pretty good one.
Hey, real quick about The Natural.
Waterboy.
Waterboy's great.
What's yours?
My favorite baseball movie is 8 Men Out. It's just about the 1919 Black Sox. I don't know what it is about that movie. I loved it. Obviously Bucky Weaver, the whole story with
early John Cusack, Charlie Sheen,
exactly, Shoeless Joe Jackson. Like that was in like, dude, there's tons of movies. Like I like Field of Dreams, but I hate things about it. I hate that Shoeless Joe bats right-handed. That drives me nuts. What I like about The Natural though is how does this do? And that's what when I watch it, I still like think about it. He was this pitcher who struck out a big guy at a carnival, got shot. Where was he? Where did he go for all those years? And then you have
to read the book.
Oh, is that what happened?
I don't know. I didn't read the book, but that's I have no idea. But it makes you think about it.
And then like both women pull guns out on him. Like he was really that bad where they had to kill anyways. So you got your football movie. What about mob movies? You into mob movies?
I'm more into heist movies. I thought about the mob movie as well. Like I've seen Godfather, but once and like back in the day, like Godfather 2 as well. Not like big Donnie Brasco guy. I'm like heist movie. That's kind of my thing. So like The Town,
Okay,
Ocean's
yeah,
11,
Town.
like those are the movies I'm like, if I see them on, all right, I'm not going anywhere for a little bit.
Okay. Let's see.
Yours? I mean, is it
Uh,
Goodfellas?
yeah, I love Goodfellas. I Godfather 2 is obviously easy to throw up there. Someone just wanted to send this in here. If Ben Simmons got a 3-point shot, he'd be the best point guard in the league.
Alex, you're not wrong.
For that.
He would like how sorry,
Oh, go
not
ahead.
to go off on that. How dominant would he be? Because he already can do so many things well without an outside shot. How dominant would he be if he actually shot from the outside and made a few?
My only thing is this, like Jason. I am bringing up Jason Kidd again, but like Jason Kidd didn't have a 3-point shot, and then when he went back to the Dallas, he won because he could shoot the three. Like that year, they beat Miami, right?
Yeah.
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 Obviously, Dirk Nowitzki had a little something to do with that, but there are Rajon Rondo, like there are point guards that struggle to shoot, and later on in the career develop a shot. Mark Jackson was another one. I think it can happen. He's still young. He's so young.
Yeah.
And
He's
I
only
don't know.
what,
I've
22? He's
watched
only
Simmons
22.
dominate games. People say he sucks. I'm like, dude. I mean, I don't know. Who would I rather have, Jaylen Brown or Simmons? It's like everyone will say Brown, but it's like I kind of like that big guy with the ball.
Yeah. And he can do things that I think Brown just can't do, just in terms of his vision,
Brown's
his passing, and his ability to finish around the rim too.
Brown's a good defender, and he does nice things.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just
Simmons is a
talking
great on
talent.
ball defender. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just talking talent. Like who has it? It's probably Simmons who has that talent. Mob movie, by the way. There's a lot of them. There's like too many of them actually. But like Bronx Tale, I love.
Bronx Tale's a good one.
Casino, I really like. Scarface, can I throw that in there?
Sure.
The Untouchables, is another
Untouchables, I'm on board for.
really good movie. I'm trying to think of what else. People have been trying to get me into Boardwalk Empire. I haven't seen that. I love this. The Sopranos is like my favorite show of all time.
I could see you being a mob movie guy for sure.
I love all that stuff. Reality TV show.
I am straight up like circle slash reality TV. I don't watch any. The only reality TV I watch is when I happen to catch whatever my wife is watching, kind of like when I'm walking the door doing something else. And she's a big Real Housewives of
Oh
dot
my
dot.
god, that's all I've been
Yeah.
seeing lately. It's crazy.
So,
Like
I mean, the only reality TV I really watched was way back in the day when like Survivor first came out and like the first couple seasons of The Real World.
but not like Jersey Shore or any of that stuff.
No, I can't. It's just lowest common denominator. I can't.
What's your drink of choice there, Mike O'Brien?
This I have some thoughts on. So summertime is like perfect gin and tonic time as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm a wino in general. You just talk about
White or red?
weekend to weekend. Red.
Oh, so you're red. Okay.
Yeah, red.
The red gets me good.
No, the red treats me great.
I drink the whites all day. Prosecco, hook me up with some Prosecco. See, I'm like a champagne, that kind.
Oh, and listen, I'm not picky. Like if you throw Prosecco in front of you, you throw some Chardonnay in front of me. If you throw some Merlot or Cabernet, like it's gonna get drank. Don't worry about that. But Elizabeth has been big on like making some like real margaritas as of late, and also like gin martinis. So she's been like,
that's like good stuff.
Yeah, so
that's like quality drinking right there.
That is some quality drink. No, not all the time, but just when the mood strikes.
If you were at the bar and you're like, "What do I buy, Joe?" I'm a Soko ginger ale.
Oh, okay.
Southern Comfort ginger ale, and then cider, any kind of cider. I've
been
on
Tanqueray and tonic. Were you do you remember Cider Jack? Are you old enough to remember that?
Yeah,
God, that was the best.
I didn't like.
I liked Cider Jack.
Yeah, but I love cider, Down East cider. If anybody from the Down East campus in East Boston, if they'd like to send any, I would gladly.
I think Night Shift has a good cider as well.
Well, I will drink your beer, and if you have any merch, XLT triple X.
Little plug there.
Gladly wear that if you have any of that.
Are you on the seltzer kick right now?
I've been drinking seltzer. There's this Polar in front of me right now. Polar.
No,
I
I
like
mean like the hard
all
seltzer.
the hard. No, no. Well, actually, yeah. I drink White Claws like they're going out of style. The
Okay.
thing, the thing is, that's not drinking to me. White Claws is like it's like somebody brought over White Claws the other day. I looked over and I had 6 of them already.
I
And
was gonna say, how many of those does it take
I was like,
for
holy
you to
shit!
even fill a
That's what I'm
buzz?
saying. I had 13 ciders 2 weeks ago. I was drinking from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on. I was like mowing the lawn and doing shit around the house, and I watched wrestling at night. But like I bought these 4 packs of the Aloha down east, and like I crushed them. And
Yeah.
I was already 4 down. And I was like, yeah, I got another 8, 9, whatever, a 9 pack here. I might as well just continue to keep blowing through these, and I did. One night, 13, dude,
Yeah.
during quarantine, and I've been very good. I love iced coffee, like French vanilla iced coffee with just cream.
Yeah.
Dude, I worked 2 jobs for like too long, and I think I was addicted to coffee, like addicted. And I haven't had a coffee in almost 80 days, and
Oh,
I've lost weight.
really? Well, with the cream and sugar, right?
So I don't. Well, I guess the
More
French
cream.
vanilla has the sugar, right? So
Right.
yeah, so I guess it is cream and sugar. But yeah, I've lost weight. I can't believe it. Like their shirts fit me that I'm like, whoa, and I
I was
has
gonna
to.
say you're looking good.
Yeah,
You're using this quarantine time better than most, I'd say.
but I haven't worked out a lick. It's just
It's
it's
what you
just
put. It's what you put in your face.
eating
Honestly,
eating better. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of pizza and curbside.
you're not a robot.
I mean, I've had a
Come on.
ton of. I won't lie to you. The best curbside I've had is 99. I get
Really?
those gold fever wings, man. I've been pumping this up for a while. They make for $12.99. You can get a half and half XL Goldfinger wings and buffalo wings for $12.99, dude. So that's like like 20 fingers, not wings, fingers.
Yeah.
And I crushed them for $12.99, dude. Like I get like I'm having like a Goldfinger baby happening. You know what I mean?
I was our favorite Chinese food place just reopened for takeout this past weekend.
Wait, you're Medford, right?
Yeah, Medford. So
Cybar?
Blue Fuji.
I know Blue Fuji too.
Yeah. So
If you ever get a chance, Cybar
you
is
told me about that.
so good.
I think we might have had that one time.
Little pricey, but it's good. Very good.
So we ordered everything, but now it just reminded me last weekend. Like I need to get up to get some takeout from the Kowloon, like food and or drink.
So they're actually going to be. Here we are plugging them. They're going to be opening up a car hop. So they're going to like have it so like you can hang out, tailgate there, and they're going to have movies on.
Oh, what a
move,
Andy! What a move!
And the thing is that they can't have people inside, so it's outside dining. It's outside hanging out. So it's like if you can't get the people inside, you can get them outside. That parking lot's huge.
Yeah.
So take advantage. That's dude. I can't wait to like actually like meet someone. Like have a like wow, hey, like let's cheers, but can we?
Yeah, let me know when you're heading up. While I'll wave to you from across the parking lot. All right.
Yeah, but dude, I love Medford. Like there's so much. I miss my barber. My barber's in Medford Square. I don't know if you know Medford Square at all, but
yeah. Who's your guy?
There's I go to Moreno.
Okay, yeah.
There's a men's room, and they're like right next to each other. There's
I know exactly what you're talking about.
A Dominican barber, and then there's a Dunkin' Donuts. But there's so much in that square. Tanache, Alamo, roast beef is okay in there if you want to grab a roast beef. And then Bob's.
You got Salvatore's down there in the square.
Salvatore's very good. Bob's Deli is like one of my favorite delis going, man. If you ever get a chance, it's right down the street. Yeah, it's right.
Yeah, it's all right there.
So
Medford Square. I mean, that's the thing about Medford Square. It's tight. You don't have to go very far to find anything.
Brazilian food you can get at East, dude. I'm starving right now. Oh my god, I'm salivating. I like
going directly to lunch after this.
Like literally, I'm like, oh my god. But there's so much stuff where you are, and I know you're fairly new to the area. Couple more here. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Okay, this is U2, Madison Square Garden. It was 2 months after 9/11.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So it was heavy. I mean, U2, whether you're a fan or not, they're a great live band. But they did a whole 9/11 thing where they like scrolled the names of the deceased.
Kind of like the Super Bowl halftime for the Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like most emotional I've been at a concert ever. And and plus it was just an amazing show the entire time. So that's probably the best concert I've ever been to.
Who's like your favorite band? Like mine's Alice in Chains. That's my favorite rock band. My favorite rap band is like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I love NWA. Like I love all that stuff. I even liked emo pop punk for a little period of time in my life. You wouldn't. I don't fit in with that crowd. But did you have
like who?
Oh, I like Brand New.
Okay, yeah.
I was in I Newfound Glory, if you remember them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I like bands like that.
I probably say I grew up kind of I was into like the early 90s hip hop a little bit. It's like Boys to Men.
Yeah,
I
dude,
like them.
I love that shit.
Yeah, Boys to Men growing up, little Tribe, and then I kind of switched over to the more alternative scene.
Yeah.
Live was probably my
Okay,
favorite.
yeah. So you were in the alternative, like Live and Cake, maybe.
Yeah,
Or,
Cake, big Cake fan. Guster I found in college, Boston-based band, so switched over to them a little bit. But yeah, I'd say Live and like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, like they were so big when I was growing up. Bush was a big, big band. Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots for me as well.
Yes, Green Day as well. I got into the punk scene.
Yeah,
that's a good show too. Green Day.
Yep. Then we missed it this summer because this is going to be like the greatest summer in Boston concert history. And
Corona.
Damn it! Are you a roast beef guy? Like I know in Philly, it's like you got to get a steak and cheese there, you know. But like, is it worth it? Is it real? And have you had a roast beef here? And like, is there any difference?
I haven't had. I guess what's a stereotypical Boston roast beef sandwich?
Triple beef 3-way. It comes cut roast beef with mayo, sauce, and cheese.
I mean, I'm a roast beef sandwich guy, like fan. Like if it's a good roast beef sandwich, put it in front of me, like it's going to be gone. Cheesesteak. I mean, cheesesteaks are one of those things that's like, it's like getting chowder in Boston or something like that when you're out of town. Like, yeah.
I get steak and cheese here. Is there a difference between a cheesesteak?
Philly cheesesteak is like its own thing. It's like, can you get chowder in or something else, Boston and Philly? Sure. Like, can you get a cheesesteak or a steak and cheese in Boston?
But is it like chunkier, like meat?
It's just like I can't describe it. It's just its own thing between the cheese, the onions, like the bread down there is what makes it too.
Yeah. Like, we ever go home and you're like, dude, I need a cheesesteak?
I'm really like, I need a cheesesteak right now. But there are a couple times where I've been like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to head down to South Philly. Here's the play. You know, Pat's and Gino's, like those are the two favorite. Yeah. Here's the play. You and a buddy go. One of you stands in Gino's line. The other stands in Pat's line.
Go half and half.
Go half and half.
Yeah. I do that now. I do that now with the wife. I'm like, hey, I'll get chicken parm, you get a steak and cheese, and boom. You know what I mean?
Listen,
we'll split it.
Life is hard enough. You don't need to deny yourself good things.
I like that. You should put that on a t-shirt. All right, we call this Musings, Murray's Musings.
Yep.
Ketchup on a hot dog. What do you put on your hot dog?
I used to be only ketchup for a long time. I did not like mustard. Yeah, I did not like mustard. Now I've kind of come around on mustard, so I go ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's a respectable answer. I heard this relish shit the other day. I'm like, what is that?
No relish. I mean, I'll throw in some onions and chili if they're kicking around too.
All right, so you've been around the world. There is nothing better than seafood here. Like from Maine to the Cape. Like and I'm like a lobster roll fiend right now. I love lobster in general. I love the lazy lobster. I love all that. But I'm out on cold lobster. I just don't want to have it. I don't want it with mayo, and I definitely don't want it with lettuce. So are you a hot buttered? Or
just stop the conversation. Just stop the question right there. Hot buttered lobster roll only. That's it.
Good answer. They call it Connecticut style, which I don't understand.
I've never seen that in Connecticut.
Well, like, dude, I go to other places all the time, and I ask for. They're like, "Oh no, it's only cold. I can give you hot butter." I'm like, "Wait, well, like they give it with me with mayo and shit." And I'm like, "I don't want that mayo on there," and I like mayo. I don't want cold lobster with mayo and lettuce. I don't want that. I want hot buttered bread and lobster.
That's not Connecticut style. That's wrong style. Like you're doing it wrong.
Wrong style, exactly. Yeah, God. And people are like, oh, well, it's hot outside, so you want something a little cold. No. No,
Yeah.
I don't. But oh man, it's so funny. Like I go on vacation, I get lobster other places, like in Florida or like like one of those like Caribbean. No, those aren't lobsters. like I'm like, and the thing is that it's cold water here. We have great cold water, so it's just they just
It's the best.
it tastes so
Now,
much.
now I've been hungry for Brazilian food. I've been hungry for a roast beef sandwich, and now I'm hungry for lobster.
Exactly. You're gonna
Oh,
not know where to go soon.
oh.
Plastic or paper straws, and the reason why I bring this up is since I haven't been drinking iced coffee, and I've kind of given up the soda thing, like fast food. When do I use a straw?
Probably don't need
And
to.
and so booze is the only thing I can think of, but I haven't been out. So like I don't do I use straws anymore? And then I'm like, oh well, the paper straws suck. And I know it's environmentally friendly, but are you a paper plastic guy?
I don't care. I have no strong feelings on straws. Like whatever you put in my drink that's going to get it into me, I'm fine.
Okay, all right. That's and are you a beach or a pool guy?
I am probably more of a pool guy. I love going to the shore. That's what they call it down in Philly. So I would love going to the Cape. But as you can see from my skin
Yeah.
tone, I'm not exactly friends with the sun or have a large amount of melanin in my body. So my time at the beach is often limited by the amount of time I could spend in the sun. Plus, I'm not a sit there for hours on end and just like soak up the sun kind of
Yeah,
guy.
you can't sit still.
I need
Yeah.
activities.
So, like when
So
I'm at
like
the beach, I'm in the water throwing something or
right.
talking, doing something because I can't sit there and bake in the sun. I can't. I love. I mean, I get tan. Like I like it. I
Yeah.
get
Oh, for
color,
sure.
but I can't sit there and bake. I don't know how other people do that.
Yeah, make like put me by the pool. Like I'm go inside, grab a snack, bring it back out. Like use the facilities need be. Like go in, mix a drink, bring it back out. Like convenience, convenience.
Final segment here,
All right.
Michael Bryan. We call it quarantine. Quarantine. Blah 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 blah. I'll come up with a song someday.
Bow.
What shows have you been watching during quarantine?
Okay. There's been quite a few because we've had what 10 weeks to work here. Uh, the missus and I just flew through Ozark.
All right, is
Which
it
was
worth it? Is it
yeah,
worth it?
yeah.
It is.
Were you a Sons of Anarchy guy?
Loved Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I'd say kind of the same vibe, where like a lot of conflict, a lot of drama, the right amount of violence when need be, like some shocks, some twists, some turns. I equate it hard to Sons of Anarchy. I just ripped through Devs on Hulu, starring Nick Offerman, which was pretty good. What else have I done? Oh God, it's all just kind of like jumbling together at this point.
I'll tell you what I've watched. So I did like the Tiger King. I did all that shit. I got it out of the way.
Yeah,
Um, I love Dave. It's with the rapper Little Dicky.
you're the second person in the last 2 days to tell me about that.
Dude, it's 10 episodes, 30 minutes.
Yeah,
So it's like not, they got to hook you, right? For 30 minutes, they got to hook you.
yeah.
I loved it. And I know I'm familiar with Little Dicky. He's a like a Jewish rapper, but
Mhm.
but now it's about him. He's like this Jewish rapper who's like trying to get signed, and he meets people, and he's like, "Hey, I'm Dave," and it's like, "You're Dave." He's like a rapper, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's like about his relationship and his life, and trying to get signed, and his friends, and like moving from Philly, where he's from. He's from Philly,
yeah.
and he
Love
lives.
him. And House right now we're kind of going back through, and then I've also been watching Letterkenny on Hulu. It just not mocks. It kind of tongue in cheek about like Canadian culture, like
That's funny.
kind of like backwoods Canadian town.
Yeah,
So
but the
that's been
shows I
fun.
watch are like with the wife. So yeah, Dave is good, and then Insecure, if you like, that's on HBO.
Oh
If
yeah.
you want to check that out, that's it. That's a good one.
Now I'm like, what did it's so sad. Like, what did I watch?
Yeah,
I
I
watched
watched
so
The
much
Sopranos.
TV. I'm like, I can't remember any of it now.
I did The Sopranos again, every episode. I just couldn't stop. I got like addicted to it. What's been your go-to snack in quarantine?
Salt and pepper popcorn.
Salt and
Salt and
pepper.
pepper popcorn. Yeah.
You do the salt
It's
and
kind of
pepper on the popcorn?
no, it's like Pop Smart or Pop some brand name.
Wow.
Yeah, the popcorn has been my go-to. Just kind of like it's not it's not too unhealthy. It kind of fills you up a little bit. So that's and pistachios. I'm a big pistachio guy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've been eating Welch's fruit snacks. Lots of
Ooh,
them.
that's good.
They're really good. And yeah.
Is it mixed berry?
Yes. Yep, exactly. And then they have the cherry, all cherry.
Ooh.
If you go to Target now, you can buy two packages for $4. I think there's like 8 in a package. It's no good. What is your favorite frozen food, Mike O'Brien?
Like, are we talking about entrees or like desserts?
Anything.
Okay. Frozen. I mean, oh, here we go. Stouffer's French bread pizza is the best frozen food.
I have it in my freezer right now, and it's my favorite.
Yeah.
I know. I do it.
Yeah.
Come to a little plastic, undo it, pop it in there, preheated. Yeah.
Oh, you got to go. There's no microwave option still, right? Like I haven't had them forever. Okay. Oven only.
Yep. And I like this is weird, pepperoni and sausage they make.
Yeah,
but they also
weird.
I mean, I like it. So it's really good.
That sounds amazing.
I like sometimes just a straight up plain.
Yeah. Go back to, sometimes the classics are the best.
Yeah, can't mess with the original. Final question.
Okay.
What has been the most obscure purchase you've made in quarantine?
What's funny? I've actually made a concerted effort to limit the online purchasing because I could just see myself going down a rabbit hole. Hard, and especially with the play-by-play work and like just general streams of revenue. You got to tighten, going away for a bit. You got to tighten the purse strings a little bit. I'd say the most obscure was I had to get a new pair of flip flops. Like that was
All
it.
Right.
New pair of flip flops and some wine. That's about it.
I bought a new beach chair from DXL. Big man's chair.
Oh no! Sorry, here an automatic knife sharpener. That's the most obscure thing I got. Obscure. Sorry, I forgot about that.
That's obscure.
Yeah,
I did Instacart once.
How was that?
It was great. They gave me an extra bag of salad that I don't want, but overall it was a great experience.
How long do you have? Like, is it you're still at a point where you have to like plan like a week ahead of time?
2 days. So if I did
2 days,
I'd get it on Thursday.
Okay, all right.
It's great.
I might have to. Well, yeah. I guess things are opening now, so it doesn't matter. But maybe
this is when I was like, I'm not waiting in line to go into a store.
I did the hour-long wait one time.
We got to.
That was good. That was good.
The process. I know that, but whatever. So that's it, Mike O'Brien.
This has been so fun. Thanks, man. This has been great.
This is what I do. It's a podcast to hang out, shoot the shit, talk about topics that are happening in the world, get to know you. I think we did that in 90 minutes.
Yeah, and also like chance to see people that
it's different.
You haven't seen forever. That you like. Man, I miss hanging out with Joe Murray in the studio. Now we get to hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, and then when things open up, we can go hang out. I don't know if we cheers or shake hands or whatever, but
Kowloon's parking lot. We got it set.
It's an easy ride I live 7 minutes away.
It's easy enough for me. 20 minutes away.
I'm being serious when I tell you this. One night I left the Kowloon. I put Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven, pushed play, drove home, and when I pulled in my driveway, the song ended. It is I literally live the Stairway to Heaven from Kowloon.
That's a beautiful way to end the night. And any trip with Kowloon for that matter.
And it's easy right home. And they have mixes too. So if you go up there, you can bring some of those mixes home. Oh my God. I am starving.
Let's go. Let's go get lunch. I'm dying right now.
All right. Mike O'Brien on the mic. And I didn't plug this, but you got a little pod. You've been doing a show with authors. You had Stewie on recently.
Yeah. So real quick, kind of like trying to keep busy here during the quarantine like everybody else. There's this I guess a streaming station, which is also can be seen on some smart TVs called FTF. It's short for the fans. And there's a show called The Show Hit the Author. It's basically a half-hour interview show where we talk to authors about that are kind of like in or around sports. And we just basically talk to them about some of the books they read and go a little in depth on the writing process and their background and what got them in the writing a little bit. But yeah, Paul Stewart was one of the best episodes, just like story upon story upon story about his hockey playing career and his reffing career and growing up in Boston too. So that actually just aired this past Sunday, but I think you can check it out on ftfnext.com. So if you want to check out the show, that's where you can find it.
And Hulu, you said?
It's on like smart TV. It's like on Roku and like Chrome TV and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
So it's like whatever smart TV. I think almost all smart TV systems. I want to say.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. He is Mike O'Brien. He's a Swiss Army knife. You're
the Swiss Army knife, by the way. Like you're in the morning. You're on the weekends. You're like whatever there's something that needs to be done and done right. Joe Murray gets a call.
I'm like the sixth man.
Sorry,
I don't know. Is that all right?
That's fair. That's a better description.
I could like what else is there? Like pinch runner? I'm not a pinch.
No, six man. No, you're not a pinch runner. Too valuable to be a pinch runner. Yeah. Six man.
There were some great pinch hitters though in the day. Guys who can just get out. That was like a knack that they had. They were just really, really good pinch hitters. I don't know. Maybe
you're so much more than that. Don't. Yeah.
I think I'll roll with that for a while. All right, Mike O'Brien. Follow him on Twitter at O'Brien on the mic. You can find he does play-by-play for everybody, and you can find him there and find out what he's doing. I'm leaving as well tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, Mike, if you ever want to use this as your demo, just sitting here on Spotify, YouTube, and iTunes, you can listen to previous episodes, including this one that will be up very shortly everywhere. Okay. And again, tomorrow, my guest, Tracy Clements.
Yeah.
From 98.5 The Sports Hub. Tracy gets from behind the glass, and she'll be just sitting here tomorrow with Joe Murray. So for Mike O'Brien, I'm Joe Murray. We'll be just sitting here with you tomorrow. Again, I'll be on with Toucher and Rich from 6 to 10, and then back here with you at noon. We will talk to you then. Thanks.